because we're used to continue to do the thing wrong that we think is right. Because again, we typically make things that are abnormal normal. So I just want to say, for anybody out there who may be struggling, who may be battling with some issues, who knows somebody who might be battling with some issues, don't shut them out. Do not shut them out. Don't shut yourself out. If you need help, talk to somebody. Just talking can do so much for the mind and the heart. There's no wealth without mental health. Welcome to the Willpower Hour podcast, where today we will be talking about mental health. And as you know, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May. What is mental health awareness? Mental health awareness refers to the importance of recognizing and understanding the well-being of other people's, mental status. And we have to understand that mental health is as important as physical health. And it's revolving around trying to break the stigmas and educate the community. A lot of people don't understand that mental health is serious, and a lot of people don't really understand that they may be battling with mental health, even if it's at the smallest level. I know, coming from where I come from, mental health was not talked about in my homes, like the home I was brought up in the conversations that I was having around the people that I was around. So, that is one of the reasons why, mental health becomes an issue, because it's not talked about. And there's a lot of people who are living with mental health, and they may think that it is normal when in reality it's abnormal. Isn't it interesting that sometimes we can do things over and over for so long that it's abnormal and it becomes our new normal? It's interesting. Now, I know for me growing up, I battled or had some of my struggles because of things that, came about in my life that, maybe made me upset, gave me bad thoughts and things like that. I battled with my behavior. I had a real anger problem, which caused me to, present with an undesirable behavior that pretty much got me in some situations that pretty much I shouldn't have ever been in. I'm a big firm believer of mental health, because I think when I became a 911 paramedic, going into people's homes where they are actually having these episodes, really opened my eyes. And this was back in 2017 when I started in EMS. And, I never seen anything like that. Now, I come from an area where, you may have the homeless population where they standing on the side of the road, having, I guess symptoms or presenting with physical behaviors, as if they're fainting and uncontrollable type of behaviors physically. But really going into a home where someone is, described as typically normal, but then have, some type of crisis, like, that was interesting. And you know what? I'll go ahead and go into it and tell a little story. So in EMS, I was an EMT then. I was fresh into it, probably within the first 6 months. We went into a home because we got a call from a wife of a husband. This husband used to be a firefighter, and he was a firefighter out in New York during the 9/11. And she called because he was having an emotional crisis in a form of where he was screaming. He was like curled up in his recliner, saying, "Hey, let me out, let me out, let me out." Remembering the time of whenever he was, pretty much, having to save lives and be on duty during the 9/11 time era. And that really opened my eyes, watching a grown man, go through what he was going through. And I don't say grown man like it's a bad thing, because my heart really went out to him. And for anybody who battle these issues, that just really opened my eyes to know, like, man, this is serious. And the things that we experience, the things that we are being told, the environments we hang in, the constant blows to the head, in a form of trauma can literally send any one of us, left. And, I am more conscious to the things that I intake, the things that I do, just because of the things that I see with people. Like, all it takes is for you to smoke the wrong type of drug. All it takes is for you to drink the wrong type of drink that may have something in there that don't need to be in there, and kill off some of your brain cells. All it takes is one nice blow to the head. All it takes is, not getting enough sleep over a longer period of time before we start presenting with certain mental health conditions. And this is why I'm real conscious about my health. I'm conscious about mental health because I've seen it happen with the best of the people. Like, literally, there's young people, as an EMS personnel, we used to get calls from parents like, hey, my son or daughter just started acting like this out of nowhere. They ain't nothing but 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. And they never had any mental health scares or diagnosis or anything like that. Like, imagine waking up one day, you or a loved one just basically, went left because of a certain thing, whether if it's some type of alcohol they didn't had, maybe it's some type of drug they didn't had, maybe it's, some type of trauma to the head they didn't had. Like, these things are serious. So that's why I'm big on mental health. Of course, mental health can be genetic, it can run in your family. It can be caused by the external factors and stuff, but we have to really get serious about our mental health. And any way, shape, or form that I can be able to support, I can push these scenarios, I can push these terms or whatever it is to be able to help people really understand how serious this is, I'm down for it. Like, I remember going into a home one time where this older man, he was like 80 years old, and he called for his son that had got out of prison. And his son was clearly, not acting normal when we got there. I mean, he was still alert and oriented to where he can refuse us, but he was acting abnormal. The older male, the elder, said basically like, ain't nothing wrong with him. We don't believe in that mental health. Shh. I can't curse. I probably can, but I'm not gonna curse. But he literally said that. Like, so that made me kind of think about maybe the older generation didn't believe in mental health stuff because of certain ways of looking and thinking about other people in the world. And that resonated with me deeply. And I'm like, man, that's crazy how you can watch your son clearly act abnormal, got out of prison, and he's acting this way. You don't believe that he has some form of mental health issue. So, unfortunately, in our neighborhoods, in our homes, these things are not being talked about. But that is why I am starting with this episode. I'm starting with this month. I'm starting in general to talk more about mental health. And especially because I'm big on personal development. And personal development is correlated to mental health. If you are not your highest self, if you feel depressed or down, obviously that correlates with mental health and personal development. That's why I push it so much, because if we don't work on ourselves and we continue to stay in a high vibration, we get down, we get low, we have low self-esteem, we have depression. And if you stay in that low space or low vibrational point too long, that's when the real issues start coming. It's just like a person not getting no sleep for several days. They become manic, restless. Like, these things are serious. The drugs, man, I cannot speak enough about these drugs. To my youth out there, be careful with these drugs. These drugs are not the normal. I know somebody gonna say marijuana never killed nobody, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it hadn't killed nobody until it's laced. especially with this fentanyl and stuff going around, or embalming fluid, whatever it is. All it takes is for you to smoke the wrong thing and boom, it send you off the ledge. These are real stories. These are real scenarios. But of course, nobody believes it. Nobody takes it serious until it happens to you or a loved one. And hell, sometimes people don't even take it serious when it happens to themselves or a loved one. They just keep doing it. Because we're used to continue to do the thing wrong that we think is right. Because again, we typically make things that are abnormal normal. So I just want to say, for anybody out there who may be struggling, who may be battling with some issues, who knows somebody who might be battling with some issues, don't shut them out. Do not shut them out. Don't shut yourself out. If you need help, talk to somebody. Just talking can do so much for the mind and the heart. If you don't want to go talk to a therapist, okay, talk to a friend that you trust. Talk to a stranger. Hell, find a way to contact me and talk to me. Because before anything happens, and I'm pretty sure not myself, other people would like to talk to you and try to help you through whatever you're going through. Because you don't have to struggle alone. You don't. You might feel like that because maybe the environments that you're in and the people you're around right now, but you don't have to struggle alone. There's people out there who will support you and listen. Like, I couldn't imagine, somebody committing suicide because nobody listened, because they didn't feel supported, because they couldn't cope with the things that they are going through. There are ways for you to cope. There are ways for you to get better. There are mental health institutes. There are therapists. There are counselors. There are people who are genuine like me who will literally listen to you, be the ear to hear what you have to say and be able to help you brainstorm out of what you're going through. There are communities and organizations that you can be around to have a sense of belonging. A lot of this stuff sometimes that we can prevent just revolves around somebody not supporting you, especially when you're going through whatever. It don't even have to be mental health. It can be a financial crisis. It can be an identity crisis. It can be, not knowing what you want to do in the career or business or something like that. Hang around like-minded people who are going to support you. Seek help. Call a crisis hotline when you feel like you just can't take it. Let somebody support you. Somebody care. And I know a lot of people will probably say, nobody cares. Somebody do care. You just have to find them and locate them. Don't allow the people that's in your environment right now to make you feel like nobody cares. That's not true. I remember having that same mindset whenever I was younger. These are negative things that we talk ourselves into. Feeling like nobody cares, nobody supports you, it's always your fault. Those things are not always true. Now, certain situations that can be the case, but you are in control of that. You can change all of that. If you see somebody struggling, give them a shoulder to lean on. Life is too short, and people are literally here one day and gone the next day, all because of things that they are battling mentally that they cannot cope with alone. And sometimes we miss the signs. It'd be really, really obvious and we literally miss the signs. Me just sitting here talking here on this episode to be able to touch somebody and get somebody to understand how important this is therapy for me. I've been on this journey of growth, personal development, mental health for about 4 or 5 years intentionally. I used to put posts up on Instagram, on Facebook that was encouraging and stuff, and they used to get a lot of attention. People may not comment, people may not have liked, but they would message me and like, hey, Will, man, I needed that. And that started making me feel good, like, okay, there's people out there who really are going through some things and need the encouragement. It was a time that I stopped doing it for so long, and people would contact me and like, hey, we need your post, we need your encouragement, like, what's going on? And that made me realize some things too. So find something that keeps you occupied. Find something that helps you feel good and cope. There's something that you do every day that you don't even realize that really brings you peace. But part of that is probably because you're on the move all the time. You don't give yourself enough time to sit, relax, let the external factors spark a new thought in your mind. Allow whatever it is to marinate on your mind so you can brainstorm with it. More to it all, if you are battling anything or you know someone, please seek help. Please take mental health serious. Please understand these drugs are an issue in our communities, even the marijuana. Now, I don't feel like that 100%. I don't smoke. I'm drug free. I don't like to be out of my mind or even feel mellow in that sense. But even with some of the marijuana, there are issues tied to it. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your mental. Take care of your emotional self. Take care of your spiritual self. Most definitely take care of your physical, but it starts with the mental to be able to take care of your physical. And I just want to say, anybody out there who is struggling, who feel like the world is just crashing on them, they would never amount to anything in life, I just want to tell you, where you are right now does not define where you can go and where you will go. You just have to put yourself around people and expound or build upon your mental capacity. That way you can have that mindset shift. That way you can have that transformation to get where you need to be. Imagine or think about the stories that you have probably came across on social media or people telling you where they used to be in one place that was low and they was able to get over that hump to get to that higher place. That also can be you. If you found any value in this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know. Give me your feedback. How you feel? Do you take mental health serious? Do you really understand what mental health is? Do you understand the signs, the conditions and stuff? Please give me some feedback. Let me know. And it's okay if you don't believe it, or whatever the case may be. Hopefully at some point we get you to understand and get you to believe for sure. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Send it out to people because we got to push this message. That way we can get more people on board so we can start doing better with our lives and living at our highest capacity. Because we are the highest form of creation under God. Thank you for tuning in to the Willpower Hour podcast.